I went to St. Cloud State University. I graduated with a degree in computer science. I had already been a minister by then for almost 10 years. I've been a minister since I was 14 years old. Yeah, I know. I walked around in school with a briefcase and a suit and tie my whole freshman, sophomore, junior year. I made lots of friends that way, and took that with me everywhere I went. I am friends with, one of my good friends is James Turner. Y'all know who he is? Okay. I call him JT. We're both Jameses, so I call him JT. And now he calls me Pastor James. I'm not going to tell you what he used to call me. We both went to St. Cloud State, and we also played semi-professional football together. He's the big guy, so he played on the line, and I was a safety. I played in the backfield, and we played for the Thunderbirds. We T-Birds together, and we did that for a number of years. And we have had, I just talked to him on the phone yesterday, as a matter of fact, and we've had a long relationship that I thank God for. Good dude. Friends are important to have, don't you agree? It's good to have good people around, right? How important is it that you have friends that are like you? Yes, sir.
My friend plays football.
Does he? Do you play football? Do you like it? Are you friends because you play football together? Would you be friends if you didn't play football together? Don't know. Good. How important do you think it is to have friends that are not like you? I heard somebody. Pretty important. Tell me why. The difference is we can grow into where we're not alike or where we're not the same. Okay? All right. I want to talk to you. I got nursing a cough, so I got a cough drop in my mouth. It'll be gone in a second. I want to talk to you about the difference between equity and equality. Okay? Now, where does that show up in the Bible? Where is there a conversation about equity and equality in the Bible? Okay? There's a story that Jesus told about the parable of the talents. Okay, anybody know what that is? Anybody know what that is? Parable of the talents? Anybody? I know I got a bunch of theologians, right? Okay, the parable of the talents. The story goes like this. I'm gonna break it down, make it nice and simple, so that we don't get all into the these, thous, and thuses. Okay. Jesus told a story about a man. He was the boss, and he was getting ready to leave, and he was leaving on a trip. And while he was leaving on a trip, he looked back at his workers that he has. He says, I'm leaving. I'm going to be gone for a while. I want you guys to take care of things while I'm gone. And while I'm gone, I'm going to leave you some money. And I want you to do something with this money. And then when I come back, you're going to report back what you did. Okay? Now, if somebody is going to give you something, if I was going to give, what's your name? Finley. If I was going to give Finley something and then I was going to turn around and give Crosby, if I was going to give Crosby something and then I was going to then go and I was going to give Kylie, if I was going to give Kylie something, okay, what do you think, if I had money that I was giving them, what would be fair? How much money should I give them all? Say that again. Same amounts. Right? That's what I should give them. And that'd be fair, wouldn't it? To be able to give them the same amounts. Everybody agree? Is that fair? Is that fair? Is that fair? Anybody think that's not fair? That's fair. Okay. Fair is equality. Equal. I'm going to give Finley, I'm going to give you 25 grand. I'm going to give Crosby 25 grand. I'm going to give Kylie 25 grand. Okay? Now I'm gone. I'm going to be gone for like 2 months, 3 months, maybe 6 months. I'm going to be gone for a while. Okay? What are you going to do with 25 grand, Finley? You don't know? You don't have a plan?
Buy a car.
Buy a car. Okay. Mm-hmm. Crosby, what are you going to do with 25 grand? Get a house, buy some food to eat. Interesting. Okay. Kylie, what do you got? What do you got for me? What are you going to do with that 25 grand? I don't know. Now, that's reasonable. That's fair. That's fair. And now, I haven't paid these actors. These are unpaid actors. We haven't worked this out before. But if I told you that's exactly what this story was about, okay, would you believe me? That exactly what has just worked out is exactly the way this story was told. Okay? Because it was a master. They called him a master because he was the boss. But the boss gave money out, but did he give it out fairly?
Yes.
Did he give it out fairly? Did he give one the same amount that he gave to the other that he gave to the other? No. He certainly did not. He did not give them the same thing. Why did he give the same thing? Wait a minute. This is the Bible we're talking about. Of course he gave them, Pastor Albert, you're not telling the truth. Of course he gave out the same thing. It's the Bible. It was Jesus telling the story. He would give them the same thing, right? Why wouldn't we give the same thing to everybody? Okay, Crosby's got an example. Go ahead. Let me hear you.
Because sometimes you don't have enough money to give everybody the same amount.
Sometimes you don't have enough money to give everybody the same amount. And that's absolutely right. But in this case, this dude was kind of rich. He could have gave them all the same amount. Yes, sir. Okay. Yes, sir. Some people are valued more. Man, now that's deep. You should be up here. That's pretty good. What's your name? Riley. All right. Riley is exactly right. But so too is everybody else. Right? What's your name? Say it again. Teddy. So Teddy, you landed on the wisdom that was actually being used in the story at this time, because what we've got to realize about being fair is that sometimes in our attempt to do the right thing with all the people that we have in our lives, we're trying to be fair. And so being fair means putting everybody in the same place at the same time. From the moment that I see them until the moment that I leave, everybody is fair. We're going to treat everybody exactly the same way. That's fair. That's what equality is. Equality is fair. Everybody starts from the same space. Everybody is going to end up in the same space, or everybody at least has the same opportunity to have the same space. And we can end with that. Are we recording this? Am I moving too much? I'm moving too much. I didn't know we were on camera. Okay, in my church, when we're doing stuff, I have a taped off area that I can move in, and I have to stay within my little taped off space so the camera doesn't look like they're doing this the whole time. Why didn't the master give the same amount to everybody? When he gave them out, I'm going to come back to you. I'm coming back. Give me a second. He left. He gave out certain amounts and he left. And he came back. Okay? And when he came back, he called Finley, he called Crosby, and he called Kylie, and he lines them up. Right? Gets them up in front of everybody and says, all right, I'm back. What you do with the 25 grand? Bought a car. Okay? What did you do with the 25 grand? What happened to the house? I thought you got a house.
I wanted to get an apartment.
You wanted to get an apartment?
And so then the rest of the money that I
You gave it to the poor people. Okay. Kylie, what'd you do with your $25,000? You saved it up. Again, these people are not paid. You know this, Pastor, right? I mean, they're not paid. Okay? The three people that he gave money to, he did is exactly the same thing. He asked them the question. The first person that he gave money to started a business with it. Okay? Started a business with it, took the money, he was able to double the money. So he took the $25,000 and he doubled it, had $50,000. And the boss man said, "Great job. Good job." Goes over to the next person. In this case, it's Crosby, and says, "Okay, what did you do with it?" And Crosby says, "Hey, I took that money. I got a place to stay. I got some food. I kind of did some things. I was able to make 50% on that money. So I got 25,000. What's 50% of 25,000? Anybody? Come on, quick minds. Okay, so if I add that together, what do I get on top of that? Right? So I made about $35,000, $37,000, somewhere in there, right? Half of 25 is somewhere in around about 12.5. Y'all with me on that? That's that computer science mind doing that thing. It still works. Okay? So $25,000, I turned it into $35,000. That's still not bad investment. My investors in the house should say amen. That's not bad. Okay? When we got over to the third one, and I don't know, I'm just going to, the third one was waiting for the master to ask the question. And we're sitting over there on the side watching all these dudes over here ask that question. And man, what they were doing were risky, man. They were doing risky. But here we go. Kylie's over here, and I'm waiting for him to ask me. You wait. I got an answer for you. I'm waiting. You wait till my turn. I'm going to tell you. Do you know what that last person did with that investment, with that money that they left? Nothing. Didn't spend it, but didn't do anything else with it at all. Took it and buried it in a hole and waited for the master to come back, because they knew that the master was going to come. And he said, "I knew that you were a hard taskmaster, and I knew you were going to come back and you were going to ask me for that money. And rather than anything else, I'm just going to hide it up underneath this stone, and I'm going to pull it out, and ta-da, there goes your money back." The master was furious. Because he said, "I didn't give that to you so that you could bury it. I gave it to you so that you could at least do what Kylie said the second time. I saved it. I put it in the bank, because then there's at least I get a little bit of interest on that, and there's some money made." The point is that the reason why the opportunity was given to you is because you should have done something with it. Now, that's the equality version of the story. The equity version of the story is that when we look at how much was given to each one, the first one was given 10. They called them talents, but they were really pieces of gold, and they were valuable. He gave him 10 pieces of gold. The second one, 5. The second one, 5. The last one gave 1. Because there was an awareness of where these individuals were in the beginning, from the standpoint, from the beginning. And so, did he give them different amounts, or did he give them the same amount? Because what he gave them is what he knew they could handle. Okay? My friend Friendly over here, he's a little bit of an auto trader. He knows how to invest his dollars in the auto market. And so, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drop 25 on him. I'm going to give him all 10 of those talents, because he's going to go buy a car that's going to probably do a thing. But Crosby got him beat because she's invested in real estate, and so I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna give her I'm gonna give her the amount of money that she is able to deal with. And Finley, I mean, I'm not Finley. I'm sorry, Kylie. I'm sorry. Kylie's still working it out. She might not be as ready, so, but I'm gonna give her the amount that she's ready for. In this world that we live in, there's a different, we talk about equality all the time, right? Anybody know who Mike Tyson is? He just had a fight, right? And he was fighting, I don't even know the name of the guy. Who was the guy he was fighting? Jake Paul. Supposed to be something of a fighter, right? I don't know. He jumped into a ring. He's 20-something years old right now, is he? He's about 27, something like that. And Mike is 58. Okay. Was that a fair fight? I mean, it's Mike Tyson, right? This is murder in the ring kind of thing, right?
That means so the one that's younger can fight for longer and is a little bit more agile.
But the older guy has fought more. He's done more fighting, though. Does that matter at all? It's been a long time since he's been in the ring, right? Well, how do we make this? So it's fair. It's a fair fight. They both get boxing gloves. They're both in the ring. They're both at the same time. It's fair, isn't it?
Jesus didn't fight in a long time, but he did fight in the past a long time.
And you are right about that one. Jesus ain't fought in a long time, but he's always ready, ain't he? See? So is it fair? Was it a fair fight? Did you see it? Had a knee brace on. He looked like he didn't look like 21-year-old Mike Tyson, did he? Okay? But it was fair. Come here. What's your name? Landon? All right, me and Landon fixing a fight. Okay, is it going to be a fair fight? Yes. Yeah? What makes it a fair fight? All the way in the back. We both have the same things. All right, come on, Brandon. Landon, here we go. You ready? We're going to fight. You ready? You sure you ready for this? Maybe. Are you sure? Not really? Not really? Are you? I mean, I need you to be sure. I mean, if you're not sure, then this is not really going to work very well because I need you to kind of be sure. All right, come on, put them up. Come on, let's go. We gotta get in there now. You gotta know a little bit about, you gotta be able to, Now, my boy Landon here is at a little bit of a disadvantage. No. He's fine. I'm from a Pentecostal church. He can yell all he wants to, okay? I didn't tell Landon that I come from a boxing family. My dad, for Christmas, bought me and my brother, Sugar Ray Leonard, boxing gloves, and we spent Christmas beating the heck out of each other. And then when we were done beating each other up, then we had to fight Dad. That was Christmas. And he made it fair by only using one glove and putting his other hand behind his back.
I wouldn't really say that's fair.
I wouldn't say that was fair either because I got beat up. Okay? But that's fair. Now, is it equitable? The answer to that question is no. Because what we need to be able to do in order to make something equitable, thank you, Landon, you can have a seat, sir, thank you, is you have to be able to match the person to the place where they are such that it begins to then match where the other individuals are too. Okay? There's a very famous picture of three people trying to watch a baseball game from the backfield, and they're trying to look over the fence. And you have a short person, a medium-sized person, and a tall person. And nobody can see over the gate. Nobody can see over the fence. Equality is everybody get a box to stand on. That's what equality is. That's when I'm giving out money, I'm giving everybody the same amount. But is it fair? Is it fair to Kylie to give her 25 grand and she's not ready for it? No. I don't have any plan. Nobody's ever asked me that. Oh my God, I don't know what to do. She's going to know now, Mom, so I'm just going to let you know now. She's going to be ready for that 25 grand after this. But it wouldn't be fair to just drop that on somebody. One of the biggest things that I tell my people in my church when I'm pastoring them, I tell them all the time, first of all, where I come from in my tradition, it's not okay to play the lottery. That's bad. That's gambling. You shouldn't do that. Now, I tell them that, and then I say to them, I pray that none of you ever win. And I say that as their pastor. I pray that none of you ever win, because I know that you're not ready for the Powerball. That if you won $250 million, I would see you one time the next Sunday, and I would never see you again. Gone. Not that you would move to an island and live the rest of your life in happy, luxury, all kinds of stuff. The vast majority of people who get more than what they can handle lose it. All of it. I've seen people get a little bit of that kind of money, and they were dead inside of 2 months. Scary when you try and think about things like that. Now, if I go back to my three people, and you got the little person and the middle-sized person and the big person, the difference between equality, which is everybody gets a box to stand on, and the little person is still not tall enough to be able to see over the end, but it's equal, right? Because we are all got a box. We all have a box that we can stand on. Everybody is standing here, and it's all the same. Come here. Stand there. Come here. Now, are we the same? But it's equal. It's fair. So Jesus had an alternate to that. And rather than give everybody the same thing, he said, let's give them what they need. Right? And so rather than us getting lost on who's got what and how much they got, we should ask the question, do they have what they need? Now, if this was my church, I would stand on a chair, but it's not my church, so I'm not standing on chairs. But I would give my friend here, Teddy, right? Is it Teddy? No, that's not Teddy. Teddy's over there. Who is this?
Armani.
Say that again?
Armani.
Armani. Boy, that's a beautiful name. Who did that? Your mom did that? She did that right there? It's a beautiful name. I have a son named Amir. It's very close. Okay? What Amani needs is a chair. Okay? What's your name? Avery. Another beautiful name. What's all these A's up here doing up here? This is great. Avery needs a step stool, but maybe a couple of steps. Not as big of a step as Armani. Did I say that right? Armani. And not as big of a step as Armani. Now, if I give him a ladder and I give her a step stool, is that fair?
It's fair, but at the same time it isn't.
Because I'm not getting anything. He gets a ladder. Avery gets a step stool. I get nothing. Why? because I'm tall. I'm already up here, right? I'm already up here. I'm already up there. I'm already up there. And all I needed was this. And that's okay. Thank you. Y'all can have a seat. Thank you. I need you to understand something. You deal with people every day, all day. You deal with friends. Some of them are just like you. They come from places like you do. They come from a home. They come from a house. They have things like you do. Maybe you have your own room. Maybe you got a mom and a dad. You got 2 cars, a dog, and a cat. Maybe you've got a TV in your room, maybe a game system or 2, access to a cell phone. Maybe you have that. But maybe some of the people that you deal with do not. Maybe you go to a classroom full of people who are the same age, but that's the only thing that's the same. And in order for you to get to the place where you understand and appreciate the difference between equal and equitable, is realizing that equal isn't always fair. And we have to redefine that. 5 generations from me, so I'm going to date myself. You ready? 1974 is when I was born, right? The moment I said 19, most of these kids was like, you're old anyway. Okay? I was born in 1974 to parents who were born in the early 1950s, who were born to parents who were born in the 1920s, who were born to parents who were born in the late 1800s, who were born to parents who were slaves. I hung out with my great-grandfather. We called him Big Daddy. He picked cotton. So did my grandmother. My father was born in the field. They weren't picking cotton at the time because it wasn't in season. They were picking cabbage. We don't all start from the same spot. And that's okay. We don't need to start from the same spot in order to want to go to the same destination. And where we get a chance to engage, where me and Teddy, right? Where me and Teddy get a chance to engage, where we get a chance to be able to share is in where we are going. It is not as important where we start, only that we met each other at a certain place in time along the journey. And that from that place, because if I've got bread and my brother Finley over here is hungry, I got bread. Let me give him some. Maybe he needs some water too. Make sure he gets that, right? If Landon finds himself in a fisticuff, and I have some experience with that, what I probably want to do, show him a thing or two. Keep your hands up. Keep them close. Okay? And just like in football, any football players in here? Yes, sir. What's the rule? What's the rule about tackling in football? Low man wins. Whenever you see Mike Tyson fight, what nobody ever really picked up on is that he never tried to punch up. He's a little dude, 5'6". He never won his fights swinging like this. Come in low, come in tight, move around, hit the big guy right up underneath him. You didn't know that. But I certainly was going to use it on you. That's not fair. We live in this world, and sometimes some people use that to their advantage. Sometimes, Avery, they're going to try and trick you because you don't know. You don't have any idea. You don't have any understanding. Poor Kylie over here didn't have any idea what I was going to ask her. Had no idea. 25 grand, where that come from, I don't know. Nobody told me. Oh, my God, I feel some kind of way. And life can be like that. You ever been asked something you weren't prepared for? What's the square root of 525? Do, 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 do. I'm only in third grade. That's not something I need to worry about. Do you know?
$25.
You're right. Not today it isn't, but it will be for you. If I gave you $25, I bet you it'd be a good amount of money, wouldn't it? Mm-hmm. Square root of the square root of 525 is a little less than the number 25. Mm-hmm. Very, very, very close. Okay? You're going to get asked stuff all the time. You're going to have to deal with your life all the time where you don't know things. And you're going to be asked to deal with those and deal with them in terms of where everybody else is, right? When we live in this world, you're going to be asked to be nice to somebody over there, and you have never met them. You are told when you come to church, be kind, be nice, be obedient, golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And when it comes time for you to actually implement them and you are being now subjected to a stranger and you don't know how to behave, should we be equal or should we be equitable? Why? Because it's fair. You might come into a situation where you know them, and because you sat next to them in church. And you know how to talk to them because, hey, man, I saw you last week, and that's cool. But what happens when the person comes in and you've never seen them before? How many people have never seen me before? Okay? If you've never seen me before, how do you don't know what I'm going to do? So how do you treat me? I know you know, but I'm gonna come back to you in a second. Go ahead. Why? What if I don't respect you? What if I come in How are you going to treat me now? Same way? Really? So if I come in and I look at you and I say to you, what are you doing right now? Why are you sitting there? How come you're not saying anything to me? What's your reaction now? How are you going to treat me?
Same way.
Same way. You okay? See, I told you you didn't know me, so you have no idea where I'm going with most of this. And the truth is, you should adjust. You should adjust. You should adjust to the person that you're dealing with. You should adjust to their reality. No, I don't know them. I don't know where they're from. I don't know how they're feeling or what they're coming in with. I don't know what is on their shoulders, on their back. I don't know if they got into an argument with their mom before they got here or if they don't have any money to buy lunch. I have no idea what's going on. But if I am going to be good if I'm going to be equitable, I'm going to treat them right where they are. Is he okay? Okay. I'm a 6'1" black man in St. Cloud, Minnesota. I can have a tendency to put some people on edge, and I've realized that. When we come across people, Jesus is asking you to adjust, and that's equitable. Okay? I preach, I teach, I talk in front of a lot of people all the time. I teach to people in the front differently than I teach to the people in the back, because the people in the back are sitting in the back for a reason. Most of the time, they don't want to be seen, or they want to remain anonymous. I don't really want to be in the midst. It's not really for me anyway, so I'm just going to sit back there. But every once in a while, I'll get a shout out from the back that says, I know who Mike Tyson is, and I know that guy, Jake Paul, that he was fighting. Because just because you sit in the back doesn't mean you're not participating. You have other reasons. So we adjust, and I project, and I teach to you because you're back there and I'm up here, but it doesn't mean that you don't get talked to. Okay? I can adjust because Finley is in a different situation or different mindset than where Kylie was at, and I had no idea what any of them were going to say, but I adjusted, and that is equitable. And just because I've got slavery in my family doesn't mean that you have to deal with me differently, but maybe you should. If nothing else, you can ask. You can ask questions, right? Well, what does that mean? What does that mean? I've never heard of that before. I've never even thought about something crazy like picking cotton. Have you, Pastor Alberts, ever picked cotton? No. I've seen it done. I walked up to a cotton plant and tried to put my fingers in it, and there's thistles on them. They bite. I asked my grandfather. He said you get used to it. Hands get nice and hard. And that doesn't make it bad, because you adjust, makes it equitable. How many Germans do I have in here? Traditional, like you come from a Germanic tribe. You know that you're German, right? Okay, raise your hand. It's okay. Be proud of who you are. Be proud, okay? I know where I am. I know all these things. Let me tell you something. My last name is Alberts. Guess where Alberts comes from? Germany. You can imagine my disappointment when I realized that there wasn't a lot of Albertses running around in Africa somewhere. I'm like, what does that mean? You mean I'm not from Africa? I'm from Africa. I'm black. Adjust. So where's my name come from? It comes from the people that owned us. They were from Germany. No. Adjust. This is equitable. This is how we get to equitable. And sometimes giving somebody something more than giving somebody else is uncomfortable. It feels like it's not fair. It feels like it's unfair that you, Pastor Roberts, you shouldn't have to experience that. Whoa, time out, y'all. That ship is already sailed. But what you can do in order to be equitable is in all thy getting, get an understanding. Albrecht, I don't know if you know anyone like that, is a derivative, is the original name that Alberts comes from. And it derives, I can't pronounce it in German, I'm not any good at it, I've tried it. But it goes all the way back to the motherland Germany, long time ago. One day, I was working at a place called Radio Shack. They don't know what that is either, okay? There was a store called Radio Shack, and I worked there. I worked at Radio Shack, and while I was working in Radio Shack, there was a really old white guy that came in. Okay, and in Radio Shack, they had this thing where they would ask you for your phone number and your name because we wanted to send you junk mail. You know, that's how we did it back in the days, right? And we would collect the name and get their phone number, and we would ask. And so this guy came in, and he was a sweet dude. He was a nice guy, you know, no big deal. He wanted some batteries, which is predominantly what people went to Radio Shack for. They got some batteries. And I asked him what his name was, and he said, Alberts. Excuse me, can you say that again? Alberts. Now, he had this funny accent that I had never heard before in Texas. But he had to be like 80, like he was old. And I'm like, Alberts. And I said, you mean like this? And I pointed to my name tag, and it had my name on it. And he said, yes, like that. My eyes got as big as dishes. I never met anybody who wasn't my color who had a name like mine. Now I'm curious. How did you get that name? Because I thought I owned it. Interesting how that works, right? This is where fair and equitable starts messing up, because you think that everybody is on the same footing as you. You think that you got and they got and everybody has their own and they got them the same way. There's a reason why I know where my name comes from. I asked to take a break when I met him. I said, where are you from? And he said, Texas. Even with this really strong, funny sounding accent. Now, I know I'm from Texas. I ain't got no business talking about people who would have funny accents, because where I come from, we have a tendency to have a drawl that's absolutely amazing when you get to talking to some of us country folk down there. Yeah, it's in there. But I was raised in the military, and I learned how to cover my tracks vocally. So when I sat down and I talked to him, and he said he was from Texas, I said, where in Texas are you from? Now, where my family is from is not easily known. It's not like Houston or Dallas or San Antonio. It's actually a real little bitty town that was a black-only town called Dime Box. It's Dime Box, Texas. It's next to Conroe. It's in East Texas, about an hour north of Houston. Middle of nowhere. Just there's cotton fields and peanut fields out there. And I know that because that's where we go have our family reunion every year. And do you know what he said when I asked him what part of Texas he was from? What did he say? Dime Box, Texas. Now my eyes are as big as dinner plates and my mouth is on the floor. There is this really old white guy who has my name, who is from the place where we go every year to celebrate the fact that we are family. Now I'm going to be honest with you. There are things inside of you that get to going when the moment that you realize that all of that mythology that you've ever heard, all of those stories you've ever heard could have been true. And if I'd have stopped talking to him right there, I'd have walked away with fair, but not equitable. Turns out, Mr. Alberts is of the family that had us. We cried together. It was an amazing thing. I would trade it for nothing. I wouldn't even give it away. I wouldn't give it away at all. You could be mad. You could say, well, Pastor Alberts, you could be mad about that. Wasn't you angry? Didn't you want to yell at him about that? He felt so bad. And I told him, no, don't you feel bad. You're completing a piece of history that I never knew about myself. And if we don't dare be equitable, if we don't try to be equitable, if we don't try to reach out to Crosby while we're reaching out to Finley, while we're reaching out to Kylie, right? If we don't try to reach out to another right where they are, then you'll be terrified by the next loud person that you see. And you'll never realize that there's a whole story that goes with them that would actually help you understand that person better. He shook my hand. I shook his hand. He left. Never saw him again. But his story is right here. And my story is with him. Wherever he went, he took me with him. And wherever I go, I take him with me. And all because I wasn't mad that one person got a ladder and another person got a step stool, because we got what we needed, not necessarily what we wanted. I want you to contemplate just a little bit. Going to school tomorrow? Is there school tomorrow? Did we cancel yet? Look at sad faces everywhere. No. You're going to go back to school. How are you going to be equitable? Say it loud. Jesus is in you. That's the most prolific statement that you could absolutely say. Who did Jesus reject? Say it loud, Mama. No one. Prostitute. He rejected prostitutes, didn't he? Nope. Thieves. He rejected thieves, didn't he? He rejected thieves, didn't he? No. Tax collectors. He didn't like tax collectors. He did not like tax collectors. He rejected them, didn't he? No. Romans. Oh, the Jews didn't like Romans at all. Jesus rejected the Romans, didn't he? So was Jesus equal? Or was he equitable?
Equitable.
Now that right there, you're right about that. He had a way of being able to do both at the same time. But I want to make you understand that equitable is where he started. Because in all of the stories that I can give you, the whole point is not where we start, because we're all going to start from different spots. It's where we end. Where do we end? What's the end? Where do we want to end up? Now you can go. Where do we want to end up? Say it loud.
In heaven.
In heaven. We want to be with Jesus at all times. We used to sing a song. I come from a singing family. Want to walk around heaven all day. Okay? How are we going to get there? Are we going to get there if Finley's $25,000 investment goes down the pooper and we fire him from all fellowship because he blew that 25 grand? No. What about when Kylie figures out what to invest her 25 grand in, she becomes a multimillionaire? Do we exclude her because she's rich now?
No.
No. That's what we wanted to be able to do. And it doesn't matter your race, it doesn't matter your color, it doesn't matter any of those things. Every knee, every tongue, and everybody needs to be able to get there. And you have a role to play. You have a place to be. You have something to say. You have a way to contribute. And if you do your part, and we trust everybody else to do their part, then guess who gets to go to heaven? We all do. Okay? We good? We good? All right. Thank y'all for letting me share. I love coming here every year. And I get to see the new faces and the growth. Thank you, Pastor. We haven't met, but thank you. All right, any questions? Yes, Crosby. Thank you, Crosby. I appreciate that. Well, thank you, everybody. We are going to give it back over to somebody. Somebody come get this microphone, because otherwise I'm going to talk all night.
How about we give Pastor Alberts a round of applause? Thank you so much. Awesome. You want me to take that? Thank you so much.
You're welcome.